football manager at Kaizer Chiefs. Bobby Motaung sits across from me here on a night where Mamelodi Sundowns get beaten 5-0 and Kaizer Chiefs are 3 points away from the league title. You couldn't be happier. Surely, you walked in here beaming.
Evening, Tommy.
How are you?
I was watching a horror movie, man. I told my kids to go and sleep early because they couldn't watch this. It was horror. This was terrible.
The 5?
The 5 was terrible.
Horrible.
But, you know, we never laugh at this. It's part of the game. It happens. It can happen to the best.
One of the things about Kaizer Chiefs, there's no dispute. In domestic ABSA Premiership and all competitions in South Africa football, Kaizer Chiefs have won more than anybody else. When it comes to the Champions League, though, and the CAF competitions, a lot feel your club doesn't take it as seriously as they should.
I think it's unfair. We take it very serious, Tom. The first challenge with the Champions League, as you know, it's firstly we're challenged. We're getting used to it now. I mean, if you look at the last game that we played in Morocco, the guys rose to the occasion. I didn't expect such a performance from our team. But basically what affects us mostly is the logistics around playing this tournament. You know, the congestion of fixtures at home, including the logistics, the travels. You know, it's tough. It's not easy.
But if someone says it's the same for everybody.
But that's what I'm saying. But at the same time, we had to adapt to it. We had to get used to it. I mean, we only came back last season into this after a long time. I mean, the last time we played in the Super Cup, we won it, which was called Mandela Cup then.
2001.
Yeah, we won it, and we never obviously qualified for the Champions League. But obviously, if you look at the performance as well, the guys, I mean, sometimes it's part of the game.
It's probably
you lose some and you lose some.
The chopping and changing. I think that's probably that gives the impression that your best side isn't playing in the Champions League. You put out a team that didn't play in the league for the 3 points. The Champions League team is significantly changed.
I think the past 2 seasons, if you check, we've always kept the same team. We don't have a junior side or a makeshift side. All the players that we have, in fact, most of the players that needed to develop and gain experience are the young ones, because that's the future. You know, guys who have played in the national team, who've played in the AFCON and everything, have got the experience. But you need to develop these players, give them the experience and the exposure. And most of the guys, like George Lebisi, for instance, I was shocked with this performance. We took a youngster there called XTN, who was not playing, but I think that experience will help us in terms of domestic as well as international. You
mentioned the players. There are a lot of stories around player contracts that are still in the air. Who's going to stay at Kaizer Chiefs? Can you give us any clarity? I think maybe the 2 most important that everyone's talking about, Kune, Mashamaite.
Yeah, I think talks are still going on. We were just having a bit of a tight schedule now, traveling Morocco and everywhere. I think we will be getting the ball rolling again and finalizing that. And you must remember, Thomas, contracts are negotiations. It's not like, you negotiate. It's not like something that somebody comes in and signs and goes. They want this, we want this. They want this, so it's more of a negotiation process, and talks are still going on.
Mashamaite at his age, though, he's at that 30 age. What happens with the Kaizer Chiefs policy on 30-year-old players, and will it apply to Mashamaite?
In what sense? What policy?
Well, I've heard from the club that they only re-sign players for a year.
No.
Above the age of 30?
No, you can sign even up to 35. I mean, Shoes played until about 40.
But the extension is a year at a time.
It depends on the player, and the technical staff, what they see in the player, and what the relationship we have with the player in terms of long-term plans and visions. I mean, some players, like Doctor, for instance, retired at Chiefs, and we had plans for him long time. I mean, he's been with the development all the way. So it depends. It's not a fixed policy. I mean, we have had players who are older than 31 for 2 years, 3 years. Shaba at the moment signed a 3-year deal, and he's above 30. So it depends. It depends also on the fitness of the player and how the player feels if he can carry himself all the way. Masha is a clean living player.
Kune?
He's committed. Kune also, like I said, it's part of the negotiation process. Negotiations are going on, and we're quite confident that we'll finalize soon.
So he's staying?
It depends on the negotiations, if he's staying and if he wants to stay. But definitely he's our player. I mean, we've developed him from ages back. So I think we're quite confident that he'll stay.
Final question. One of the big signings you made, Katlego Mphela, has only played 2 games this season in the ABSA Premiership. Are you happy with that kind of return from a man as lethal, as dangerous as Mphela is known to be?
Killer was unfortunate. I mean, when he came in, he was not fit at first. Then he had an injury, a long-term injury. Came back and he had another injury again. So It was a question of luck for him. I don't think there was anything. We signed him knowing that he's a quality player, he's a quality striker. But obviously, once you start getting injuries and the game is moving and he's not getting younger, and obviously he's got to come back into the game. And if you see the past 3-4 games he's been playing.
Are you happy with that striking department?
Definitely not. Definitely not. We're definitely looking at beefing up in the upcoming season. We're not happy with the striking department at all. We're not happy at all. Even in the last season, we were still looking. Just that you must understand, sometimes you have to make the right choice at the same time. And you can't have 4 players and still be buying strikers when the others are not getting a chance to play. So I think we are taking stock at the end of the season of what we need to reshuffle on and what we need to bring in.
Bobby, thank you very much for the honesty. Thank you very much for taking the time to be with us tonight on Sport at 10.